cut the professional introduction. When he says strip back, he means that we're getting drunk. There was no real concern there as to whether there was a destination or whether it was just going to carry on through the storms. Now, the reality is that there is going to come a point where it's just one storm too many.
It is, ladies and gents. How's it going? A late night podcast from Optimize Me Now and the fabulous Mr. Kevin Bennison.
Yeah.
We're having a few beers tonight, so we're not sure how this is going to work out yet.
No.
But we'll see. It's going to be good fun anyway. So we're going to do away with all of the usual introductions and we're just going to get straight into it because this is a special podcast edition because it was my birthday yesterday and I turned 33. So Kevin very kindly has come all over from Worcester to help celebrate, and he's up for a few days. We're going to go climb some mountains, do some cool stuff. So yeah, this is all part of the extended birthday celebration. So what we wanted to do was come on live tonight and do a really special edition of the podcast. I mean, it was a bit more stripped back and something something very honest.
Like just cut the professional introduction. When he says strip back, he means that we're getting drunk.
I'm trying to dress it nicely.
Just something a little bit more stripped back. Yeah.
I'm trying to keep track of the comments here. Yeah. Helena apparently thought I was 34. Well, I've entered my 34th year, Helena. Yes, so I'm not 34. But I am now in my 34th year.
Yeah.
So you're kind of right, but thanks for wishing away a year of my life.
And as good a friend as Jamie is, I said to him that I wished him a gift that I couldn't give him, which was the energy of a 42-year-old. But he can't have that yet, you know.
I'll catch up the hills one day.
One day, yeah. I'm not sure what day that'll be. It might be a Friday. So
what are you guys up to tonight? We've got a load of people jumping on live here. It's a bit of an odd time to be going out and doing a Facebook Live, never mind a podcast, because it is like 24 minutes past 10 on a Friday night of all things. But we have got a few people jumping on, so let us know what you're up to tonight in the comments. If you're getting drunk or just having a night in or going out, whatever you're doing, let us know. Get involved in the conversation because this is probably going to be relatively interactive.
And this is definitely one. I mean, I'm not really sure how well this will kind of go on the playback version. It might be quite funny, but certainly live. This is a live experience. So whoever wishes to just drop some questions in, drop some comments in, you are part of the party. So let's join the fucking party and let's do it, yeah?
Yeah, what would you like to talk about? What kind of things would you like to see us cover? I mean, this is episode 71 of this podcast now, would you believe? And Kevin's been on about 50 of them. Yeah. But we've had some fantastic guests on. We've talked about some really cool stuff. But like, where are the holes? What are the gaps? What would you like to see us talk about?
Shaquille's on.
Maybe...
Shaquille, this is your time of night for a Facebook Live. Why are you not doing a Facebook Live at this time of night? Because you're usually on at this time.
Sucky's a bit tipsy. Good, yeah. As you can probably tell, we are a little bit as well. Helena says she's waiting.
It's something that you can get across on the live as well.
Get drunk.
Is the air in here is absolutely flipping stinking.
At least I had the decency to go and excavate my bowels before we started the show tonight.
Too much information. Yeah.
Hey, listen, we all do it.
Yeah.
And we did say it was going to be an honest podcast.
Yeah. This is congruency. We fart.
You can probably tell the level this is going to be at tonight. Oh, I'll have a glass of wine. Aggie saying he'll have a glass of wine or 10 with you guys. Yeah, well up for that, mate.
Yeah.
So I'd like to see you both.
Yeah, come on,
Good
Aggie.
to see you, Aggie.
Yeah, drop it in there. Drop it in.
What's everyone else saying? What else we got here?
Well, we're going to we were saying that we were going to talk about like self-sabotage and stuff, weren't we? But this is actually self-sabotage in action.
Well, I was thinking about that, and
because we're supposed to make every minute count, right?
I was thinking about this this topic of self-sabotage, and I was thinking it's more prevalent than you think. I mean, you wanted to talk about some of your personal experiences with it over the last few months, years, but I think self-sabotage is actually evident from the micro to the macro in terms of, when we say procrastination in anything that we do in life, that's actually self-sabotage manifest, isn't it? When you have something that you know is really important to do, that's really going to move you forward in life, in your business, financially, or in your relationship, whatever it is, but you busy yourself doing all the other little things. So you're getting some nice easy wins in, right? But you're just holding yourself back from doing that one thing that actually could make everything better, make everything else easier. And you see that in little things right up to big things, and I think it's a big part of life. And I think more people suffer from self-sabotage than realize they suffer from it.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I started hearing about self-sabotage, I don't know, probably about 3 years ago. Certainly when I got involved in the Tony Robbins circles, started hearing about self-sabotage, and I didn't really know it was a thing. But it's become more clear to me that there's been a hell of a lot going on, hell of a lot of it going on in my world, that's for sure. Yeah. And I think if you're not aware of it, then it's very difficult to do anything about it, but you'll have this sort of default position that you keep taking yourself back to. And one of mine was that, I'm okay with the struggle. So I'm all right. And it's a very dangerous position to be in. Excuse me. When actually you're okay with whatever crap is going to come your way. And that was it with me. It was whatever crap comes my way, I'll deal with it. No worries. I'll sort it.
What's the difference though between that being a problem and positive character traits like resilience, mental toughness, positive mental attitude, in terms of actually working, because everybody comes across challenges in life. Everyone has shit happen, which is far from ideal, to varying degrees throughout the entirety of their lives. It's guaranteed. And you've got to have a certain degree of positive thinking and mental toughness and tenacity and just staying power in this life to really get through it and make the most of it. So what's the difference then between having tenacity and just keeping at it and just kind of battling on through, and when actually you're not battling through anything, you're banging your head up against a brick wall? How do you make that distinction between the two?
I used a bit of a metaphor one time with someone, and I was saying to her, how about you get to an area and you've got the ocean in front of you and it's dark and there's a boat there and you've got to get into this boat and go out onto the ocean. How would you feel about that? And she said, yeah, I feel okay. And I said, so you then paddle out a certain distance and now you look around you and there's nothing around. It's just ocean. And she said, yeah, I'm okay with that. And I said, but whatever direction you go in, you're going to come across storms. And she says, yeah, whatever storms come my way. And this is somebody that's, pretty close to me. So, and the reason that I was asking it for her benefit, but actually it resonated with me, which is perhaps how I came up with it as well. And I suppose the difference is, there was no real concern there as to whether there was a destination, whether there was somewhere to go, or whether it was just going to carry on through the storms. Now, the reality is that there is going to come a point where it's just one storm too many. But we might not realise that in the moment. We might just think that we're wonderfully resilient and we're okay with the struggle and we're just going to keep dealing with storms. But the difference is, when you're actually making progress, is you will see your destination. You'll see that little bit of light on the horizon. And yes, you know that every storm that you deal with is one storm less. But if you don't see that horizon, that light, and you think, yeah, I'm tough, I can deal with whatever comes my way, you might keep dealing with storm after storm after storm, and there's no destination, and you might not be quite aware that there is going to be one storm too many. And I suppose it's about the struggle that you're going through. Is it towards something that you can see, or is it just because you feel that you're just worth the struggle? And I suppose that's probably it for me, And when your sabotage is based upon that your worth is based upon you overcoming these struggles, then that's quite a difficult thing, because I thought, it doesn't concern me that crap's going to keep coming my way. I'll just deal with it. But it wasn't necessarily that particular type of crap was helping me move forward and achieve the things that were going to be helpful. It was just like, yeah, I'm good with dealing with crap. And when it's not enough, so we've spoken about this before, but we're either pain driven or pleasure driven generally, and we can be a mix of both. But if there's not the pleasure there, that light on the horizon that's pulling you and driving you, but actually the pain isn't enough to scare you to move away from it, so you just keep hanging about and dealing with the pain, then that's quite a bad place to be, really, because whether you like it or not, the pain is going to become too much and overwhelm you if it's not enough to drive you away from it.
What's the defining factor then? Like, a lot of people talk about this whole, you're more likely to move away from pain than you are to move towards something pleasurable or something that you want, some reward. So is it the case then that you can get stuck in that spiral of that pain? So it almost defines you. It defines who you are. It defines your strength. It defines your being, your existence, is to just get through struggle after struggle after struggle. And because it defines you, you find it, you seek it out. Maybe not consciously, but certainly subconsciously, just making decisions that put yourself in those kinds of situations.
Indeed, yeah, absolutely.
But that's completely, it just happens, right? You're not going out there and thinking, oh, I'm just going to sabotage the fuck out of myself. And so many of these programs, so many of these things, these self-sabotage programs that we run are remnants that are left over from something or a series of things that happened years and years and years ago. And so it can be a challenge, a struggle to even marry up the problem you're having right now with whatever it was that created the pattern that now runs, that causes the problems in today's life. So how did you start to identify it in your life, in your self-sabotage? What were the first things that you saw when you were like, hang on a minute, that could be this self-sabotage thing? And what was that realization like?
Well, I started becoming aware that I could be doing so much better, for sure. and looked at, there were certain things that could have gone well, that didn't go well, and I could only really, because of course, excuse me, we can hold other people to ransom for it, or put blame on other people. And of course, there are other things that other people do that have an impact upon our life, but ultimately we can only be responsible for our own actions. And essentially, in many cases, you'll likely overcome situations, and if you're a real winner, you'll overcome even perhaps problems that are thrown at you by other people. So I'd just start to, really take responsibility for the things that weren't working, the things that certainly weren't working as well as they could have done in my life, and asked questions. And it's only recently that, as you say, there can be things that happened years ago that lead to that. And it's only recently that I have started to connect and think back to, wow, this sabotage isn't a new thing. It's actually something I've been doing since I was a kid. And that manifests itself in many different ways throughout my life. But certainly in more recent times, where I've really put a lot of effort into being more successful and changing the way that my life has gone, that I've then looked and gone, and it's almost a self-fulfilling prophecy. We say these sort of words and phrases a lot, but it certainly has been that I've almost predicted doing it, and then it's happened, So, and again, that I can look at other people, there are other parties involved, but I can only look at what I've done, and when I really consider, have I done the best I could have done? There are many situations where it's like, no, but it was probably the best I've done in the situation. I don't know, but could I have done better? Yeah, definitely. And it all comes down to the sort of psychological state, the emotional state, and whether it's feeling that all you're worth is the struggle. And if you don't believe that you're worth more than that and getting out of the struggle, then you won't get out of the struggle. It's as simple as that. But I think it's important to know where the struggle starts. And I've started to pinpoint that it started very, very, very young for me. And I've seen that play out through my life. So the first step to overcoming it is actually becoming aware and taking responsibility that it's you sabotaging your own success. And look, just always believe as well that as long as you're willing to get up and go again, even if you've sabotaged yourself and even if you've messed your own things up, just always believe that if you're willing to get up and go again, you are going to get other opportunities to try again, as I have done, and I'm going into a different phase of my life again now, and it's something that's going to be potentially extremely rewarding in the longer term. In the short term, it's a great thing, but it's not what I envisioned. But in the long term, it's potentially going to be good. So now that I've certainly become much more aware of the sabotaging, and I want to choose different. So that's about it. It's like recognizing that you're doing it, and going, I'm going to choose different, and understanding how you sabotage and maybe catching that. And I think a good step is not beating yourself up for it, because if you're doing it, you're just doing it, and it's as simple as that. And beating yourself up for it is almost like exacerbating the situation. So then, and almost, analyze why as well. You know, if you're sabotaging yourself, there's probably something else that's more important to you as well. That's one thing I've realized about myself. There's probably something that's more important in your life at that point that you're trying to achieve. And you might think, oh yeah, I'm going for like making this business successful. But if you're sabotaging that, there's probably something else that's actually more important to you at that point. And becoming aware of that and going, well, actually, I need to look deeper, but I've realised that it's actually more important to me to get into a fulfilling relationship, for example. And until I achieve that, I'm probably going to keep sabotaging other things.
Is it a case of not being honest with yourself then?
That would be a bit harsh to say not being honest with yourself. You know, this whole thing of self-awareness, as you know, and anybody listening will know, if you're continually improving this self-awareness, there is no end goal. There is no end game with it. There is no highest level. So you think you're there, and I think I'm reasonably self-aware, but you just delve deeper and deeper into into your psychological makeup, you know. So not being honest with yourself, maybe just not getting to that depth that allows you to understand what it truly is that's going on. So until you get to that level where it truly is, you truly discover what it is that's going on, it's just going to appear as something else, because it's not as deep as you need to go, if that makes sense.
So it's trying to navigate a territory without a map then? You're kind of fumbling around.
Yeah, there is no map to.
Or is it actively seeking to what? Let's backpedal a bit here and talk about what self-sabotage actually is, because, like I said before, I think there's a lot of people who, I think most people probably suffer, if not everybody, with self-sabotage in one way or another, in a fairly consistent way throughout their lives. And I'm not sure it's something you can ever really get rid of. But what is it? When you talk about self-sabotage, what exactly are you talking about?
Where there are apparently clear opportunities and clear abilities to, if you like, level up in life and achieve greater than you have achieved already. But your actions, the decisions you make, the actions you take, cause you to stay at the current level, or even worse, go lower.
So it's the gap then between, it's not fulfilling your potential as a result of not your limitations outside of your control, but actually limitations that you've created, things that are within your control that you have actively, whether consciously or unconsciously, then have put in place, or action that you've taken, or things you've done, or ways of thinking that stop you from becoming the best version of yourself.
Well, there's the book The Big Leap by Gay Hendricks, and he talks a lot about it in there. He calls it the upper limit problem, which I quite like when he talks about that. And when something is going well, now this is all relative, because I can't say everybody suffers from self-sabotage, of course, because I don't know everybody and I'm not living their lives. Yeah. But I think when you get to the levels where you're pushing your own boundaries, then there'll be something screaming at you to pull back. And if you're not aware of that, and you've not become very good, very accomplished at overcoming that, then what the things that you do will pull you back. But yeah, Gay Hendricks talks about this upper limit problem, and say even a relationship and things are going very well, if you don't feel that you're worth that, then it won't be that things are going very well. It'll be that things are going too well, and you will do something, whether that be you pull back and you disengage, or whether you create an argument, whatever it is. But the more you can become aware of that again, and almost catch yourself before it gets to that point, before you kick something off or cause a disagreement or bring up a subject that's going to just cause issues. We've got the drinks on the go here. That's great.
Hey, look at this for service
got a
here.
Drink service going on. I need to drink up my red wine.
We got a delivery here.
Oh, we've got eggs and everything.
Look at this. Oh,
well,
that's yours, Kev.
How on earth am I going to get that?
He's very flexible for a tall guy, I guess, Kev. Jonathan Guppy's watching. How are you, mate? Laura Jane, my cousin. How are you, Laura?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Lovely. You can come in a bit, H. Look. Oh, okay.
Xander. Uh-oh. There we go.
Thank you. Wonderful. We're getting Prosecco on the go and everything here. Look.
Thank you.
And chocolate. Thanks, H.
Chocolate. Yeah. Look at that as well. I went to a restaurant down in London years ago, and I ordered a beer.
Is this cream egg?
And the glasses came out looking like this, and they were freezing cold. Which I should probably explain for the people listening to the audio. They're frozen glasses, basically. But they're awesome because you put the liquid in. It was probably the best beer I've ever had in my life. It was absolutely phenomenal. Because a warm glass cools the beer down, right? Mm-hmm. And you want an ice cold beer.
No, warm glass doesn't cool the beer down.
It does. Absolutely does.
It warms it up.
That's what I meant.
I thought he was getting like really scientific on me there, but he was just being an arse.
We've got all kinds of comments here. Join you with a birthday beer. Good man. Haven't thrown my food on the floor yet.
Who was that? Jonathan? Yeah. Well, I didn't see his name, but I knew it was Jonathan.
We're dropping
some cream egg. You're meant to roll it first, aren't you?
Dropping some bro science about glasses and beer.
Yeah.
So we're going to pop this live for you, because why not? Everybody loves a good bottle pop, right?
By the way, you don't see it, but we've got Helena. Tristan, all right, Tristan. We've got Helena stage left. She's giving directions and she's telling me to drink up, because obviously I need to. Because quite clearly I haven't had enough red wine tonight.
Ready? Oh, that was a bit of an anticlimax, wasn't it? Cheers, everybody. Happy Friday night.
Yeah, cheers.
You watch me pour this all over my phone now.
I now need to get rid of this red wine. So,
can you take orders from the people on Facebook, please, Kev?
Take orders.
Who wants to drink?
What we've got? Careful of those condensation rings in the piano. Yeah, absolutely.
The piano's a piece of shit, mate. It cost about 30 quid from North Wales somewhere, and it's badly out of tune.
I think I had a piss on it the other night, actually. Oh, mistaken it for a urinal as well, so...
Where's your glass, mate?
It's here. It's right here.
You know what's Prosecco, Tristan? What did he say? Condensation rings.
Yeah, we were...
I thought you said something dirty then, naughty boy.
What?
Tristan.
What, about ring pieces or
stuff?
Yeah.
Going about rings on our Facebook feed.
Lovely.
There you go.
Fantastic. Yeah, we don't need to have any, what is it, the parental warnings or stuff like that.
What, rings?
Well, just, you don't need to be having any parental warnings on your podcast, do you? Of course, all the content is absolutely child friendly.
There's parental warnings all fucking over my podcast, mate.
Right.
Cheers. Cheers, everybody.
Cheers,
Happy
guys.
Friday night.
Yeah. Prosecco
To another
and
year.
everything.
Yeah, man.
In touch with our feminine side, yeah.
Oh no, you're supposed to stick you.
That was outrageous, Jamie. That was outrageous.
Do you need a toilet break?
Anyway, right. Are we carrying on this conversation? This is the best thing about this. And now he's got Prosecco all over his face. The best thing about this is going on iTunes. This is going on fucking iTunes.
It's in my eyes.
How on earth am I supposed to be holding the fort here while he sorts his shit out? I mean, come on. Yeah. Right.
Oh Christ.
Lick it off. Yeah. Hold on. Right, this is getting weirder and weirder. I didn't realise we were going down this road here. We've now got Helena commenting on the post, who is Jamie's fiance, by the way, saying lick it off. So I don't know whether she's wanting some like proper gay bromance thing going on here live.
Let's be honest, Kev, it's not the first time that you've licked me, is it?
Hold on a minute, I think maybe Jamie's fed me too much stuff in the past.
Compose yourself, Kevin.
At least it's only Prosecco on his face, Kevin. Absolutely. Yeah, because...
Jonathan Guppy.
Jonathan, you, Jamie and I have been out on some hikes in the past as well, and yeah, God knows what was going on behind that rock. I just cracked on.
I tell you what, though, I've never I've never put alcohol in my eye. That's a weird sensation.
Is it?
Yeah, man. It tingles.
Does it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do I try it?
No. Funnily enough, no. I'll just drink it.
Do you love our professionalism for how smoothly we're able to transition from something so utterly serious to something so ridiculously stupid? That is professionalism at its best in broadcasting.
Yeah.
BBC, here we come.
Well, considering BBC don't really give opinions, I think we've given some opinions so far, so we've already broken the BBC mould.
I'm not allowed to give any opinions. Oh, I guess not.
Is that what they optimised me now podcast? So this is like optimise me when we're sober, isn't it? So we're not optimising anybody right now.
Well, you never know. Hey, listen, if it's crap, it could be an example of how not to be.
Yeah.
So people can still learn.
Well, we did threaten the 99 reasons or 1,001 ways to fuck up your business, didn't we?
I still think that's a fantastic idea. What's this? What's Jonathan's it? At least it's only Prosecco and it's still the same comment.
It's still the same thing. He's
I have to try and keep up with comments on here.
He's talking about at least it's not chocolate on your face.
Chocolate, is that what he's talking about?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not being antisocial. I'm just going to get the comments up for this on my phone because it's going to be a bit easier than squinting over there all the time. Oh, Gaston, there's some upwind. Yeah, there's been some cupcaking going on, Jonathan.
Yeah.
I have to tell you, it's been rather disgusting. Here we go.
What are you talking about? I've introduced some people to the very sophisticated world of giving cupcakes. Yeah, and
I didn't even know what cupcakes were until I think it was one of our mountain outings.
Do you not read Urban Dictionary?
No. I have children.
Well, exactly. That's the reason why you need to be on Urban Dictionary.
They're not that old yet.
Okay.
They're busy changing nappies.
Well, you'd be surprised. There's some kids Ruben's age writing pages on there, I think. Yeah.
We're in trouble now because we've woken the baby up.
Okay. Yeah.
Thing is, when you've got this many kids in the house, it's always a risk that you're going to wake a baby up.
Yeah.
What's he saying now? He's an absolute animal. Who, the baby?
Who's an absolute animal?
She's talking about you.
No, talking about Phoenix, I think. Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, we've woken the baby up, but we did say before we started it was a potential risk. He is an absolute animal.
Somebody is so much of an absolute animal that she said it twice. Right, anyway, we're going to get into some sort of sensible conversation here.
Sensible what for these 6 hangers-oners? What if you're watching, what would you like to see us talk about?
This massive audience. Yeah.
No, you with farts. Oh, she's talking about you. You with your farts.
Yeah.
Me.
Yes.
Me.
Yes.
What do you mean?
Well, you turned the air brown earlier.
I don't think that's very fair, Kevin.
It was green. It was green.
Well, listen, I'm potentially faced with serious celiac-related disorders here. I've got reasons.
I'm not saying you didn't have reasons. I'm just saying what the facts were. It was flipping stinking. And there was a wall when you come in that door.
A wall?
Yes. Like a virtual wall. Yeah. It's like a firewall, but it was more of a fart wall. Anyway, right.
Jonathan just explaining in the comments that he needed to clean his teeth after those cupcakes.
Yeah.
Graphic.
Yeah. There were particles.
I need to be able to like attach this here or something. I need to get another one of them attachment things, don't I?
Yeah, ideally. Right, anyway, so what we're carrying on from there. Yeah.
Well, we've covered self-sabotage. What else do you want to cover around self-sabotage? Because I feel it's quite a deep subject.
It is quite a deep subject, and we sort of initially said, because I thought the podcast was going to be in the morning, you know, when
it was going to be in the morning,
when we were relatively fresh of mind and stuff. And being honest, I said to Jamie, I think self-sabotage would be a good subject, because many people suffer from it. And I said, perhaps you could just ask me questions that delve deeper into it. And you know, I've certainly had my fair share of experiences of self-sabotage, but now we're the ironic thing is we're drunk and we're actually sabotaging the discussion. So the discussion on self-sabotage is being sabotaged by drunkenness.
We're illustrating, we're demonstrating and leading by example. We're fucking leading. We're leaders.
Yes, absolutely. If you want to call it that, then that's a good thing.
Well, it's a
euphemism, but it's a good thing.
It's a good thing to have fun, right?
Yeah.
And it's a good thing to be real. And it's a good thing to just jump on at 11 o'clock on a Friday night and just do a cheeky Facebook Live, have a bit of banter with the people who jump on, discuss some ridiculous shit and some moderately deep shit. What's happening with our podcast, Kevin? Let's talk about that, mate.
What do you mean, what's happening?
Well, the 1 million ways to fuck up your business. We got the artwork done. The graphic designer was flown in, right? The branding is sorted. The channel is ready to rock and roll. What are we doing?
What do you mean the graphic designer was flown in? You make it sound like you actually paid for the private jet.
He was flown in.
Yeah, flown into where?
He was imported.
Flown into where? To the deeper reaches of Fiverr in Vietnam.
I'm not sure it was Vietnam, but yeah.
Philippines then.
Listen, it was internationally sourced, and that's a big deal.
Yeah, because it was cheaper
than
some UK.
Well, at the end of the day, I did my due diligence, and I was faced with a decision of going for, you know, all these different. At the end of the day, you got to go for the best.
Well, it turned out all right because it did look like you and me talking shit about business. And that's probably the level that I talk about business. It's it's pretty shit and unhelpful, really.
So, having been in business for 5 years?
Yeah.
5 years, right. Which in itself is a pretty mean feat and fairly impressive, regardless of whatever you say. I've got 2 questions. I'm not sure which one to ask. Let's go with, what was your biggest lesson? What was coming away from all of that? What's the biggest thing that you walk away thinking, like, all of that water under the bridge? This is something that I've walked away from as a result of this experience that is going to add value to me in my life.
Stay true to what you do well, and take action on that. That was a little Prosecco burp, by the way. Yeah, stay true to why did you go into business in the first place. That's quite important. What was it that you felt you could do well? Probably one of the mistakes I made, pardon me, was thinking about what a business is supposed to be and how it should look, and just invested in too much shit, really. Rather than just cracking on and doing well with what I'd done well. Yeah, business is supposed to be this, and I'm supposed to have employees in an office and piss like that. So just like keep it lean, but also recognize as well. Start recognizing what it is that you're really good at. So for me, when I started, I was able to do the stuff like keeping the figures and all that, and keeping profit and loss, but I didn't seek out the most efficient ways to do that. And I think if I was going to go again, personally, I would rather have somebody that's doing the legwork on that. So there's certain things that you may understand, but actually it's just taking time away from what you're really good at and what you truly bring to the business as the business owner. And I think as the business owner, the sooner you're in the position where you're creating the deals, you're sourcing the work, and you may need to facilitate some of that work as well, but it's all about generating the business as the business owner. And whatever it is that's reducing your ability to do that, you got to look at systemizing that and perhaps outsourcing that. And early on, I was doing a lot of things that I could do, but it wasn't truly what I was supposed to be doing in business. But I had this idea that, oh yeah, if I'm running a business, then it's now down to me to do all the manual stuff in terms of the profit and loss and keeping track of expenses and, processing them. Which fine, if you're really quick at doing that, then great, do it. But I wasn't quick at doing it.
Or you enjoy it. If you enjoy that kind of stuff.
Or you enjoy it, yeah.
Yeah,
so
for me, that's like, I love looking at the numbers, run P&L reports and balance sheets, and like that for me is like, that's the lifeblood of the business, and I just love getting a handle on the numbers like that. But I appreciate that's not for everybody. What's the difference when you first went into business, when you made that decision? Because like, there's going to be people out there watching or listening back to this who are like either in business or not in business, or even like not in business but thinking, do you know what, I really want to start something. What did you see? What was business to you? Because for me, when I first got into the family business, I didn't really understand what business was, and I very much just saw that as another job. And I'm pretty sure that, although I don't want to speak for them, my parents, having started the business, even though they've been in the business for all those years, to a certain extent felt the same way. I remember my dad saying it wasn't until we moved to this like 15,000 square foot unit and we had all these bills and all these stuff, and he come into work one day and it's like, fuck me, I've got like a serious like business. So how's that changed as well? So like, what did you think business was when you first got into business, and like, what do you think it is now? And like, so what's the biggest shift? Because it's not another job, is it?
No, I had no idea what business was. I suppose I was looking at it too tangibly in how a business was supposed to look, I suppose. Too logically. Whereas a successful business is one that's profitable. Sustainably profitable. It's simple as that. It doesn't really matter what the resources are, what the systems are, how many people are involved, what assets you have. A successful business is one that's sustainably profitable. So that's your focus, whatever it takes to make it sustainably profitable. And by sustainably profitable, I mean that you can personally earn a living out of that. You can pay all your bills, and you can have the lifestyle that you wish to have, or at least you're on the road to that. And there's still money that can be invested back into the business. And, whatever it takes to do that is... that can be very different to what you initially think it will look like when you start out. That was how it was for me, and that's advice I often give to people. Don't try to build the business on what you think it should look like. Just go with what you do well right now, and the quicker you can get into getting customers in and dealing with customers, rather than exactly, rather than building all this big infrastructure and all that stuff. Of course, there's the whole idea. I kind of went on, build it and they shall come, but that's not necessarily the case. You're kind of, there's almost this thing of go and start drumming up the interest and getting people jumping on the bus. And while people get on the coaches to head towards this destination, you get on the fucking motorbike and you zoom towards that faster than those coaches, and then build something for when they arrive and when they turn up.
That's a great analogy, that. And that's something that I think a lot of business owners fail to do at all, is look at market research. It sounds so boring, doesn't it? Looking at keywords and doing the research and fart noises and all that good stuff, but putting the groundwork and the preparation into looking at what do I need to build. But first and foremost, you need to decide, like, before you start thinking about your business and what outcomes you need to know what kind of life you want. You've got to know who you are in a very honest way, so that you can build a business that suits that. Mm-hmm. Like, one of the biggest shifts for me over the last 2-3 years, when I was with TSP, the family business, I very much, I think now, as a product of circumstance, but I wanted to build an empire. I wanted to have multi-million-pound businesses. I wanted to build the studio people to 20 million plus revenue and other businesses alongside that. Mm-hmm. So really building an empire of businesses. I don't want that anymore. Right now, right here, right now, I don't want that. In fact, I don't want to grow my business any more than a certain amount of time. So I'm measuring it in time rather than in revenue or profit, both of which are obviously important because we all need to pay our bills, right? Mm-hmm. But you've got to decide what's important for you in your life. Mm-hmm. And for me, right now, I'm very clear that being present for my kids in their early stages of their life and being part of a really loving family is my number one priority. So my business has to be built and set up and systemized in a way that supports that. And to build multi-million pound businesses and multiples of them and all this, that's not congruent with what I truly want right now. And if I'm honest, I'd been caught up in that big business, multi-seven-figure business, and the family and everyone, all those people involved, all those moving parts, and moving it as like a freight train. And you just think, right, well, how can we kind of make this into something that's going to create like something amazing and massive impact? But actually, I think anyway, it's more important to start by having an impact at home and with the people around you first.
Yep.
Start there and then have that ripple out. And particularly for like kids, man, like, my kids are 1, 3, 5, and then 9, 11, and 14. They're fucking hell, they grow up so quick. Like my eldest, 5, he's probably got another 5 years maybe of sitting on dad's knee. And it's easy to look at people like Gary Vee and Elon Musk, Richard Branson, and be like, oh fucking hell, Richard Branson, he's got Mecca Island, what a life, man. Private jets. No, I don't know. Look at Elon Musk, he's working 300 hours a week.
I don't know the bloke, so.
Well, his schedule's publicly available. He talks about in interviews and stuff that he does. He's working a serious amount of time. He's got kids.
Yes.
And I'm not saying that that's right or that's wrong. I'm not one to judge. I'm not to say that my way of doing things or my way of looking at the world is right or wrong. I'm not that ignorant. But for me, my point is, you've got to know who you are. And I don't think enough people know who they are. And this really came to light in a conversation that we had where you were talking about people having the courage to be who they are. So you know who you are. Like deep down you know who you are. But actually having the courage to say, yeah, that's me.
Yeah.
Like fucking warts and all. The stuff that is good, the stuff that's great, the stuff that's bad, the stuff that, I need to work on, but I'm not because I'm kind of pushing it to the back. The stuff that's a bit taboo. The stuff that you wouldn't normally talk about in a public setting.
Did we talk about this before?
We've talked about this,
on a podcast or just...
No, on the way to a mountain. I think
okay.
Might have been our last hike we went on.
Yeah.
But just that...
Because let's be fair, the podcasts we have don't really do it justice, do they, with the sort of conversations we have when we go out on hikes. I mean...
Because
it's a funny thing, the whole podcast dynamic and being on Facebook Live, because there's something, I'll be honest, there's something that clicks in me that I'm not as totally real, and I try and be as real as possible, and I'm being real now on putting this across, and I try and be as real and congruent as possible when I'm doing these podcasts or Facebook Lives or whatever. But there's still that thing that clicks in that you've got to be a certain way.
The persona.
But, yeah, to a degree. But and it puts a bit of a filter on. But the conversations that we have when we go out on hikes are just absolute fucking gold, aren't they?
But they're raw and honest and vulnerable. Vulnerable. You talk about stuff that you don't necessarily know how the people you're telling are going to react. If you're going to talk about some of that stuff in a public setting, you would have some people who would look down on you, who would judge you.
That I genuinely don't care about. I'm not bothered because... But
so many people do.
Yeah, but let me tell you a couple of things, right? So, people who know me will know that I often crew on the Tony Robbins events, and I'm on fire team. We build the fire lanes. We do the walking across the coals. We build the fire lanes for that. And the best thing about doing the Tony Robbins events for me is not listening to Tony, because I spend very, very little time in the room. And when I'm in the room, do you want some more of this, by the way?
Go on, top me
When
up.
I'm in the room, tilt your glass a bit, otherwise it's just going to fizz all over the place. So
It's fucking pro, isn't he? Look at this.
there we go. Wonderful.
Thank you, sir.
So when I'm in the room, most of the time I'm actually there supporting participants, or like just reciprocating energy with participants. But the people on fire team are just some of the most amazing people I've ever had in my life. I said to somebody recently when I was there that it was the people of unconditional love. You didn't need to be anything other than yourself to get love from some of these people, and that's how I genuinely feel towards some of the people that are on fire team. And when I went out to Singapore. I was very fortunate to be viewed as somebody who was competent enough to go and build the fire lanes out in Singapore. So therefore, my expenses were paid, flights and accommodation and stuff, and I was really not in the financial position to pay for that myself. And when I went out there, I said, because we have this wonderful share. Once we've done the fire lanes, the next day we then clear up after doing the fire lanes and have a big massive clear up, and then once we've got everything cleared away, we'll have a bit of a debrief, and the debrief is essentially everybody sharing their magic moments or profound things about being there and being on the fire lanes at the event. And one of the amazing things when the fireworks going on, you've got all these participants that are like in fear, excitement, and all these different things about walking across the fire. And you can just watch them, and you've got the crew jumping up and down and all excited and getting in the zone and getting participants in the zone. And us on fire team, our role is to make sure that the firewalk goes safely. So we got to remain grounded and in the zone, not jumping about, not getting caught up in the music, grounded. And you can watch so much from that state. So you get some wonderful magic moments of just watching people, breaking through their fears, and even some of the crew, just watching some of the crew and how they are. So we share these magic moments, and I kind of said, life is about paradoxes and juxtapositions. One of the big paradoxes for me going out there was materially. When I went out there, it was probably in about the worst position I've ever been in my life, materially. I used to do okay, and I've had the business for a few years, and I used to earn quite well when I was an employee as well. Provided for my family, but it wasn't fulfilled because all I was doing was working. But materially, we were okay. But then when I went out to Singapore, I'll be honest, I had, and this is like putting it out there on Facebook, I had 75 quid in the bank when I went out to Singapore. £75. That's what I had to my name. I learned a lot of lessons in that time, because I learned that there's so many wonderful people that I now have in my life that are actually willing to offer me support, you included. Offer me support, which I didn't think I was previously worthy of or deserving of. But anyway, that's beside the point. So, getting back, I said materially I'm in the worst position, but spiritually I'm in the best. Genuinely, the past few months have tested me as to whether it's absolutely true that what I was saying about all I need is my brain, my heart, my lungs, and my big smile, and I don't need anything more. And it's proved that that is absolutely the case. So just remember, when you're chasing all of these things, do you really need them, or do you want them, or does it just take a little bit more searching within? And you said about we really need to know ourselves. I think one thing I've learned about myself, I've learned lots of things about myself. Lots of things. You know what? and I can say this comfortably on Facebook Live, I'm a fucking great guy, you know. It took me a long time to really say that, but I am a pretty grounded guy and pretty comfortable within myself. We're all dealing with stuff, and it's a continual thing of improvement. But one thing I've learned is maybe the stuff that we're really good at is not always necessarily stuff that we're comfortable with as well. So sometimes it's easier to take a back step from the things that we're good at. Just because we're good at them doesn't mean it makes it easy. Now, I've asked several people, I've spoken to several people, and asked a very trusted friend recently who's had several successful businesses. He's a millionaire. He's quite familiar with money. And I said, what do you feel that I bring to business? He said, you are a fantastic frontman. And that's been proved. You know, when I had my own business, I developed a wonderful following because of the content I was putting out there. But I didn't know how to transfer that to a sale. So, but even though, so it's proven that I'm a great frontman. I'm a pretty good marketer. I connect well with people. I can put good content out there, which is engaging. But that doesn't necessarily mean that it's easy. I might be good at that, but sometimes, and this is where the sabotage comes in as well, it's getting the balance of when do I take a step back from that, and when is the step back from that just a little bit too long and it starts to sabotage what we can actually build up. So I think this has been a long-winded spiel I've just given there, but really one thing as well I've learned that if I was to go into business again, I'd be, right, yes, I need my space and my time to withdraw and go back into my shell and just process things a little, because I like my time on my own too. I go in the mountains to be on my own. I spend time on my own when I'm in my own house. I enjoy that. I like that. I like my process time. I like to just lick my wounds when things have gone on as well. But allowing myself that time to be on my own will re-energize me for doing the things that I'm good at. Just because you're good at things doesn't mean to say you want to do them and you're always going to keep them up. But please, please, please allow yourself the space to re-energize so you can work on and capitalize on the things that you're good at. So recognize what you're good at and also accept that just because you're good at them doesn't mean that you're going to want to do them all the time.
So another thing that typically we're not good at as well is making time for ourselves, looking after ourselves, doing the things that we need to do.
Yeah, Jonathan's asking about
hazmat suits.
Essentially, we'll have to wear 100% cotton, Jonathan. I'm not sure if this is a bit of a euphemism or some metaphor you're going on about farts again, because I know you're quite obsessed with both Jamie and my farts, and you really like them. Maybe it's because you can't produce farts of such high quality. But we have to wear 100% cotton when we're doing the fire, because apparently cotton isn't particularly flammable. But you know, I've not tested this myself. I've not taken a lighter to cotton and polyester to see which one lights quicker. I'm just sort of taking the advice of the professionals on it. So hazmat, there's no chemicals involved, it's just fire. But actually, I think I'm answering
that's got to be the quote of the podcast. There's no chemicals involved, it's just fire.
Yeah. But I think that really what you're getting at is kind of farts, you know, and I think I'm wasting my breath talking about anything quite intellectual here, Jonathan.
it's a really interesting conversation around this kind of stuff. Like, how many people? We've all got these different personalities, right? How many people would be 100% themselves in every situation in their lives?
Fuck knows. I don't know them all for a start.
Well, fucking get your act together and crack on with the survey.
Pardon me.
But
That was a Prosecco bump.
But even those of us who are aware of this stuff, we're talking about it. I'm not 100% authentic 100% of the time.
No. Sometimes filters are necessary. Pardon me.
Clearly not now when it comes to wind.
Sorry, you're the one that's like brought
Yeah,
this
but
stuff
do you
out.
need to lean into the microphone?
Take a vote on it. Do you want the full effect of the burp?
Jonathan says, who mentioned farts?
Mate, I knew in your comment you're like fantasizing about chewing on them now. So anyway, what was the question?
How many people would be completely 100% honest?
Don't
with
know,
all
but
of-
there. Yeah, sorry. So I cut you off there. Yeah, I got the gist of the question. So how many people are completely honest and congruent all the time?
Is it possible to be?
I don't know if it's possible to be. I don't know that. I find, okay, so let me give you an example on a level that doesn't involve other people, right? So this is something I've learned about myself. Many people talk about journaling, right, and writing stuff down, which I think is a good thing. Personally, I feel, right, that journaling, although it may be good and it can help you brain dump, but there's still a construct going on with journaling. By the time it goes through the mind to the hand to write it down, there's still a filter in place there, which for me is, so when I'm talking now, there's very little time to construct it. It comes out. So the more you work on the way that you communicate effectively, the more that will come out well in direct communication. So this is direct communication right now, okay? I'm saying it. It's not scripted. It's being created right now.
But it's still modulated to a certain extent.
Some of it has been, but as I've warmed up, I've been very...
Warmed up?
Yeah. Well, yeah. I don't know. But there's... You know me quite well. That I'll be totally honest when I get to a certain point. When I feel that there's a time and a place, I'll be, like, hugely honest. And there's a couple of things in just this podcast that I've been completely honest about and completely congruent with. I think there's a lot when it comes down to communication, and as you know, communication is something that I've become very passionate about and specialised in, and actually I'm very grateful that I've now landed a good job, full-time job, and going back into employment based upon those communication skills. And the communication skills a lot of the time are not based upon you putting across who you are. It's getting to understand who the other person is. So to some degree, to understand the other person, you need to get into their zone, which is not necessarily your zone. You have to ask questions that help them open up. And I think that it's getting the fine balance and not being this removed, detached person that the other person struggles to connect to. But you have to get into their zone a little bit, which means that perhaps you're not being truly you. But also when you go into certain environments, you have to, or it's often helpful to initially gauge the environment. So,
well, it's
I'm
not
a big personality, am I not?
It's not the not being you though, is it? It's you're just being completely open and receptive to what that other... It's being in a complete state of wanting to understand, isn't it? Rather than trying to be understood. You're just open. So there is no you.
Yes, that's right. Well, of course, but I find that naturally I'm a pretty, I don't know, strong and imposing character.
Yeah.
I'm aware that many people are taken aback by that, even though the intention is good. But just by, I think, my physical size and that I can be very clear in my views at times and very honest, that some people are taken aback by that. Now, if there's a situation where it's really important that I connect with that person and we can work together, whatever, to achieve better things, and we're going to achieve better things as a result of working together rather than working separately, then if I can gauge that they're going to struggle with the level of energy that I may bring to the situation, then potentially it's going to be worthwhile for me to tone that down a little bit and get into their zone rather than being completely in my zone. Because if being completely me is going to make them feel uneasy, then I need to temper that a little bit, and that's going to be beneficial to do that. In time,
But you're
people
still being
accept
you.
us. Well, that's open to interpretation, isn't it? That's open to your own perception.
Well, if you use the analogy of you being the song playing on the CD player, or whatever it is, MP3 player, Spotify, you either turn up the volume for certain people who like it loud, or you turn it down for certain people who like it quiet, or anything in between, right?
Okay.
So it's still the same song, still you, but you're just turning up the volume or turning down the volume.
But what if the volume is you?
Oh man, that's just completely fucked in my head.
Yeah. See, I think that a big part of me is the volume.
Turn yourself up and down.
Well, like, the volume is part of me.
Hey, if you were the power switch, you could turn yourself on.
Pardon?
If you were the power switch, you could turn yourself on.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, yeah. We all want to turn ourselves on now and again, right? Yeah. Anyway, I think I'm going to need to go and... I'm not going to say why, but I'm just going to need to have a 2-minute break. Are you alright for 2 minutes?
I'm sure I can...
Yeah. I just need a...
You've even got someone's laughing at you for taking a 2-minute break.
2-minute break, yeah.
Prosecco, Natasha... Hang on, we've got to get on the comments here.
Yeah.
You fuck off and have your 2-minute break. I'm going to get on these comments. Oh my God.
See you back in 2 minutes.
It's blowing up, Kevin. It's blowing up.
I need to make sure I don't knock the end of your stick there.
Kevin's going to do the hula.
Yeah, I've just knocked that spongy bit off the mic.
Oh my God. May have to do some edits on that audio file. Thank you, Kevin.
There we go.
Okay, ladies, let's see what we've all been saying. Let's see. Natasha Sutton. I thought I was going to tune in and you were both going to... Karaoke? We could do some karaoke, but we've already woken the baby up once. So I don't think more karaoke or even being even louder is a good idea. I don't think my fiancé is going to appreciate that. But thanks for the suggestion. Maybe we'll introduce that into future episodes. Get the piano open and break out some Elton John. Oh, fucking Elton John. You can't play it. It's just there to look nice. It's out of tune anyway. What did I miss on it? Pine to Elena here and also drunk knowing they're doing a live. Yeah, we know. We know. we do know what we're doing. We are doing a live feed and we are having a drink. But hey, you only turned 33 once and I have a podcast, so why not? I can do what I like, and it's honest and it's good. And interspersed in between all of the craziness, there are some gems. I think we've talked about some good, real stuff today. And Kevin always shares some real nuggets. It's always a pleasure talking to him. What else we got here? Pinky up with Prosecco. Pinky up. I was going to say before about the pinky up. Sorry to disappoint. So it's like this, yes? Fabulous. Pinky up. I shall make sure Kevin is aware of that. What else have we got here? Just because you bet. Yep. Yeah. Usually we have real guests on. All right, Kev.
All right.
But just because it's my birthday. Now we were supposed to do one this morning, but we were supposed to have relatives visit as well. But we were planning to go on a walk up a local hill, and so we did that. But because there was a shoot going on, we had to go a different route, and so we were out longer, and hence the podcast is now being done at 11:30 at night because we had to have the kids this afternoon, and that would have been a pain in the backside. Trying to do a podcast for kids, trust me, is no easy feat.
There were some people shooting a load of animals.
What? The vegan brigade.
yeah. Let's not go there. I said, let's go up and speak to these guys and say, are you the Vegan Nature Appreciation Society?
That's it, the Vegan Nature Appreciation Society. Fantastic.
I think we might have had a shotgun pointed at our forehead.
They had a few shotguns on them, to be fair.
We had a few shotguns, and I don't think they were shooting mushrooms.
Well, there were lots of mushrooms.
There were lots of mushrooms. We saw a lot of mushrooms, yeah.
Now, Natasha Sutton has been on. She's informed us that it's pinky up with Prosecco.
Oh yeah, I actually, I'll be honest. I've just been really articulate about this. I don't give a shit how you drink it. It's kind of how it tastes and the impact. But if you want the pinky up, the pinky is very much up there, and it's not going to change the effect of the Prosecco.
Let us know when you feel that the quality of the conversation is degenerated to a point where it's really not worth continuing anymore, and we'll cut the feed. We'll do you all a favour.
Whoa, hold on a minute. He handed me the bottle and he said, do you want to finish that? That was like one of the tricks that one of my sons does of, do you want the last few crisps? And there's like a crumb in the bottom, and it's only to get rid of the litter. This is what he said. Do you want the last bit?
Snooze, you lose, bro.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, anyway. I'm going to regret this later. Probably when it goes out on iTunes.
Can't be any worse than the video you posted the last time that you were here.
Oh, that was the one with the voice changer, wasn't it?
Yeah, but it wasn't a voice it was changing though, was it?
Yeah, does it, I've not got my
Have you
phone.
got it?
No, I've not got it in here, no. Yeah, we were playing with the voice changer filters. What was that on Snapchat? And I said,
Snapchat.
Does this voice changer then, does it change farts as well? And let's find out. And just had a little lean over as you do, leant to one side a wee, like push of the cheek and farted. And yes, the voice changer does change farts as well. Have you got it on there, have you?
No, but I've got a cracking video.
Right. What?
So earlier today, what you can hear is the sound of my 1-year-old and my 3-year-old sat up against the gate to our living room with Kevin's mobile speaker between their legs, with him playing fart noises, and they're absolutely going mad for it.
Yeah, that was the track called Bubbles in the Bath or something, wasn't it? What's one of the kids? They love it. Everybody loves a good fart, don't they? So.
The video's as good as the audio. Turn it off now.
Yeah, everybody loves a good fart. It's a universe.
Oh, certainly. Playing ourselves.
Yeah. Oh, right. Aye. So it's a universal joke, isn't it? The fart. You might, if you got two blokes, One could be Outer Mongolian and one French. I don't know if there's any assimilation between the languages there, so excuse my ignorance. But if they can't speak a word to each other, it just takes one farts, and then
it just breaks the ice.
It's funny, yeah.
And amazingly, even like kids, they just get it. They just get it at one.
Yeah.
At one, it's just like it's instinctively funny.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow.
And do you know what amazes me as well? It's like how we as grown men, we're supposed to be adults,
Aye.
mature adults, Kevin, right? And we still find it funny. What the fuck's that all about?
What do you mean we're supposed to be?
Well, like you think back to when we were kids, right, or teenagers or whatever, and you look at your parents, and your parents are gods, yeah. Like they know it all. They've got an answer for everything. They're all seeing, all knowing. Like they're just like. Do you know what I mean?
No. No. I wasn't getting that vibe.
But well, to a certain degree. But like, imagine if my kids now knew how little of a clue I had. Do you know what I mean? Like my kids, they look up to me and they think like Dad's so strong, he can lift anything. He's like clever. He's like they just think I'm a superhero. They literally think I'm a superhero.
Well, except when I heard Ruben say today, Dad, I'm not doing it. I've already listened to your podcast.
What was that?
When you were asking him to do something and coming across as though you had some air of credibility or some shit like that.
Yeah, it's called do it or go to bed. You've got two options, right? There's two ways you can pay.
Well,
go and do your fucking wee.
Perhaps.
Or we'll just go straight up to bed.
Well,
which
maybe.
Which one suits you best?
Well,
there's a closing question and a half.
It is a closing question, indeed. It is a closing question, but it doesn't necessarily mean that you close the deal, and indeed with integrity. So perhaps he went to bed, but what I'm saying is he had already sussed out as a fuckwit.
Don't mince your words. Like, come straight out with how you feel, please.
That was just what he told me.
in those words.
Yeah. He says, "Look, Dad, I know that you're able to, like threaten me with your size, and you've got the authority here, and the dynamics are all in your favour, but it doesn't remove the fact that you're a fuckwit."
I can be a fuckwit to the nth degree.
Mm-hmm.
And so long as I pay the bills, it's my fucking rules.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, is democracy.
Yeah, but they're not. That's the thing with kids, isn't it? You see, here's a big thing around swearing in kids, right? So, like, should you swear around your kids? Well, no, because they don't have the understanding to know when to exercise self-control. Mm-hmm. They may not even have, or at least very diminished levels of self-control. They don't know when to use it. Is swearing a bad thing? No. Does our 9-year-old and our 11-year-old swear? Do they know all the swear words? Do they hear it in the playground? Fuck yes, they do. Mm-hmm. Do they need to be using it around us? No. Do they know when to use it and when not to use it? For the most part, yes. So fuck it. Like, they're just words in the human language. They're really expressive words, and sometimes you need a fuck. We do. Absolutely. I heard that as soon as I said it. Yeah. But there's that video that you played us. Who's that guy? I tell people about it all the time, but I don't know who the guy is. That video of all the different the
ways. Uses of fuck.
The uses of fuck.
Osho.
Yeah. Osho. Yeah. Go and look that up. Yeah. If I remember, I'll put it in the show notes.
Yeah.
What would they type in? Osho.
Yeah, Osho.
Osho fuck.
Yeah.
Go and
go
type
on
that.
YouTube. Yeah. Go on YouTube
after
and
this
just put
podcast,
Osho fuck. Yeah.
when you finish laughing at us on his live stream, go and check out Yosho on YouTube.
Excuse the accent. It can mean despair. Oh fuck. It can mean failure. I have fucked up. And that's kind of how it goes.
Such a versatile word.
Yeah.
But my 3-year-old does not understand when to use it and when not to use it.
Yeah.
And I can't risk them saying fuck to somebody at nursery.
Exactly, yeah. It can mean success. Fuck yes.
Honestly, go and check the video out. It is phenomenal. It really is.
What is it? I'm in the car, just laughing my ass off. Yeah. Well, we have one fan. One fan.
No, Jonathan's enjoying it as well. He's got them little smiley faces.
Jonathan, are you still on?
Jonathan's having a good time.
You're still fucking here. No, there's no way you're still here, Jonathan, is it? Are you still here, Jonathan? Put a comment up if you're still here.
When did he comment?
Yeah. Anyway, how long have we been on here for? This must have been quite a while.
About an hour and a half.
Yeah, I've talking our shit.
It's been good fun though.
Yeah.
I've enjoyed it.
Any questions on what we need to talk about next, or what you would like us to talk about next? Because this is a very serious matter, of course. But I don't think that from our huge array
the questions
of
are flying in.
4 viewers. Jonathan's still on. Jonathan, why have you not been on the mountains? Just woke up.
Woke up.
Yeah.
Why the fuck are you still listening to this shit, Jonathan?
Yeah.
Oh.
Been suffering from. You're welcome, mate. You're welcome. Yeah. It's my pleasure. You know, I'm not so attached to in what ways that I serve by ramblings. If it's putting people to sleep, then I'll just take that's serving. Yeah, mate. You're welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome, Jonathan. Jonathan said thanks for fixing his insomnia for those people that are listening back on iTunes, because just going, yeah, thanks, mate, is probably not going to add any value because people can't really see the comments. So Jonathan's saying that he's been suffering from insomnia and it's now fixed as a result of listening to this. So you're absolutely welcome, Jonathan, and I'm glad that we've cleared that up.
Adding value.
What do you mean?
How have we added value? Let's talk about adding value.
Well, there's it's now down to 3 desperate fuckers that have hung on for the whole thing.
One of them's me.
So we've got Jonathan and Natasha. Yeah. We've got absolutely, let's be fair, just desperate super fans. Don't want to start ridiculing the audience so they fuck off or anything like that, but it's kind of true.
He's loved it.
Yeah.
You're a star, Jonathan.
You need to get back out, mate. We're venturing up to the distant lands of the Lake District.
What are you doing Saturday, Jonathan? What are you doing Saturday, mate?
Yeah, what are you doing tomorrow? Can you...
Is it tomorrow? Fuck, it is.
Yeah. No, it's probably
Tomorrow.
today.
What are you doing
now,
tomorrow?
but the length of time.
No. We've still got 10 minutes of today left.
Have we?
Yeah,
Have we? Yeah. Yeah, we're off to
still
do a bit
Friday.
of scrambling in the Lake District tomorrow.
Oh, crying.
Oh, Darren Galvin. Fucking hell,
Darren
mate.
Galvin,
Don't
here
come
he
on
is,
here, mate.
the
Don't come on
man.
here. I know you're all business. This ain't business, mate. This is just utter fucking drivel.
Mate, we're just having some drinks, having a good time.
Yeah.
Great to see you on the live feed though, Matt. How you doing? Great news about the... he's fresh off EE as well, Expert Empires.
Oh, yeah.
That's the last day today, wasn't
Have
it?
you been speaking again, Darren? Yeah, I've not been to E for a while. I used to really enjoy going there, so I'd like to go back.
What was the last one you went to? November? Underground? Was it underground?
Yeah, I think it was underground. I think that was the last one I went to.
Tell me, Kevin, when you stayed over that night, because we had a great time at the Empire Party, didn't we?
Oh, here we go.
Where did you stay that night?
Well, actually, I had hoped. The initial plan was it was going to be going home.
So you were going to get the train home?
I was going to get the train home.
Right. Well, that's a smart move, isn't it? Because if you come into London and you live fairly close, you get the train in, you get the train back.
Yeah.
Unless you fucking miss the train.
It wasn't the first time that I missed the train back home. But yes, I missed the train back home. I think possibly a drug known as alcohol that was involved there. So I missed the train back. And then it's good that there are good friends around, because I was able to stay in the hotel room of
good friends.
A friend, right?
I let it in my floor.
There was actually a fucking big double bed there, alright? And there was not going to be any gayness or anything like that. When I was fine.
Not that would have been a problem, but that's not how we roll.
Well, it would have been a problem if actually you don't feel like the kind of intimacy, let's not get too graphic, but of a penis going where you don't want it to go. It would be a problem if you're not keen on that. There's nothing wrong with saying that you don't want a penis going where you don't want it to go. Okay,
well,
so
maybe you do want it to go there, and that's
maybe you did, but there was
maybe you did.
Let's be fair. If there was give or take of dynamics, that's obvious to all viewers that it's only gonna be one direction, right? And I think that's what Jamie was worried about. So I respected that. I respected that Jamie laid there in this fucking double bed, and I was lying there on a towel on the floor. I think I was fortunate enough to have another towel on top of it.
I gave you 2 towels.
Yeah.
You had 2 towels.
One was on the floor.
And one of my pillows.
And the other one was on top. And I was lying there thinking, that fucking twat has a whole bed to himself. And it must be down to his insecurities that he's not just saying, Kev, look, there's plenty of room here. Do you want to come and lie on this soft bed?
Have you seen that episode of Friends where Joey's out on that date, and I think Phoebe sets him up on that date, and he's out on the date, and then the woman reaches over and goes to take chips off his plate, and he has that outburst of, Joey doesn't share food. Well, I like my personal space.
Yeah.
And I'm very comfortable in that.
You're very comfortable that you're concerned about, things happening. But that wasn't going to happen.
Well, why didn't you say? The funniest thing is, right, we snuck him into the hotel when we could have just paid 15 quid to add him onto the room and get a fucking...
Why would we pay
bed.
£15 when we could sneak into the hotel?
It was just more fun when we were drunk.
And then Jamie said, because I hadn't brought a change of clothes.
Just to clarify, this is the next morning now. So he's had a sound night's sleep.
We were testing this the night before. Weren't we?
No, that was the morning.
Was it?
But we have to add some context here, though, Kevin. Right, you're going on about me making you sleep on the floor, but there's a sweet bit of kind of irony in this, isn't there? If we just come back, I mean, what, a few months to say May of that same year, and let's talk about the 90% blown up airbed in your fucking apartment. Then we can talk about the fucking Airbnb that you booked with the almighty skylight with a fucking UFO spotlight shining through it through the entire night. So when it comes to making him sleep on the floor, I had my reasons.
You know when something's a little bit one-sided, but you don't want to change it because it's just too funny.
Let's talk about the airbed. Let's talk about that airbed. So, Kevin very kindly invited me to stay down here. The first Expert Empires I ever went to, right? May 2018. Yeah, right. So he's like, you can stop at mine the night before, mate. No worries. I've got a blow-up mattress. You'll be sound.
Yeah. So the blow-up mattress, I didn't have actually an electric pump for it, so it was just blown up by mouth. And I got about to somewhere between 75 and 90% inflated.
Nowhere fucking near.
That's it. Will that do you? Yeah, Dan's comment. Replying didn't touch. Okay. Yeah, so I blew it up to somewhere between 75 and 90% and said, will that do you? And Jamie, to be fair, he said, yeah, that's all right. And so we put the...
No, I didn't.
You did.
I lay on the fucking airbed and I sank to the floor. The only parts of the airbed that were inflated when I was lying on it was the bits around my body.
So what you had was 90% worth of air in this airbed, keeping him off the floor. That might have been just 2 bits of rubber. The bottom layer and the top layer, the bottom skin and the top skin. But you were off the floor.
You did send me to bed with a glass of champagne, though, to be fair.
Yeah, we had champagne, didn't we?
We did, yeah. So he did spoil me, really.
That was actually, I think that was the champagne that I'd very kindly got as being part of Nick James's mastermind.
He personally sent you that.
Yes, yep, and we appreciated that hugely.
We did. It was fantastic.
And
it's the only fucking reason I slept that night, because it sure as hell was not down to comfort.
It was down to the 90% inflated airbed. And then the next night,
in spite of,
we went. We had an Airbnb. It was just round the corner from the venue for Expert Empires, and we had shisha and all that, didn't we? We went and had shisha.
Yeah, we did. That was awesome.
And then we went round the corner, and there was the Airbnb, and there was a ceiling skylight. And I'm afraid I was just too much in stitches, watching as though it was the Lord God himself beaming down his light straight onto Jamie's face. And I was in the darkness in my bed. I stayed awake for quite a while because I couldn't stop laughing.
I tell you what, right? Who buys, sets up an Airbnb in London, right, and then thinks, do you know what? I think it'd be a fucking good idea if we just take out the whole ceiling at that one end, right? And we just put a big fuck off pane of glass in there. And not only that, we're not going to install any blinds. We're not going to tint it. And we're going to make sure we capture as much light as possible.
Right under the street light.
From the street light, whatever the bloody hell it was up there. It was beaming into our fucking bedroom.
It was one of the...
in the bedroom!
One of Wembley Stadium's floodlights had accidentally twisted and was directly over the top of your bed.
Mind you, Darren can relate. He's had similar experiences with Airbnb, isn't he?
Yeah.
Oh dear. Yeah, that was a disaster. That's good though. The event was good.
It was a good event, yeah.
It was.
But was that the time where Nick said to me when I was sitting in the front row, was that another time where Nick said, I can see that you were up late, Kevin.
that was November.
Called me out live on stage.
That was November because you got the seating arrangements were
yeah
very well laid out.
As
if it had been planned almost.
Yeah,
Nick did pull you up on that. It was also it was the first one when you introduced me to Nick in the bathroom, which I remember him thinking was a bit weird.
Was that the case?
Yeah, because I think he'd just been for a piss and obviously touched an area of himself that was a bit private and sensitive, perhaps. And
I was being sort of considerate because I just thought you wanted a little bit of Nick's cock on your hand.
I tell you what, we just took the tone and we just lowered it a whole another octave right down here now.
Who did what you did?
Here you go. Oh my god.
We've got in traditional Natasha style. She shared a link.
How did it go again? What the fuck is this?
It's a YouTube link.
I can see it's a fucking YouTube link, Kevin.
Let's not watch YouTube while we're live on Facebook, right?
Natasha, what have you shared with us? What have you shared with us? My curiosity is eating away at me.
It's probably something to do with eating a daffodil or some shit like that. Yeah.
Yeah, we've had a good night, Anthony. Definitely. We've had a laugh.
Bro. You know the score.
Osho. Oh, she found Osho.
Ah, brilliant.
Natasha,
Thanks,
you
Natasha.
legend.
You are
Nice one.
an absolute star, yeah. Brilliant.
So those of you listening on the audio download, if it gets that far,
Jamie's VA.
go and find the Facebook. What I'll do is I'll put a link to the Facebook video. So in the oh my god, right, we're gonna have to wrap this up soon because I'm going. In the description of the podcast, you'll find a link to the Facebook video of the podcast. There you'll find all these links and shit in the comments. Osho, go and check out Osho. It's brilliant. What's she saying now? What the F would I want to share a daffodil? What?
Eating a daffodil. Yeah, but
a daffodil?
Pretty random, like the shit you normally share, Natasha, really. That was about it. It's just typical randomness, really.
Where did daffodil come from?
Because I said about, is it a YouTube link to a video about eating daffodils or something?
Can you eat daffodils?
Well, you can. Whether it's healthy for you or not, that's a different thing. I ate one when I was a kid. It was fucking disgusting. Absolutely disgusting.
You said I'm going to share with you a daffodil. So you don't even know what you're saying now, Kev.
Well, you said that you need to wrap up soon because it's, I don't know, it's going down.
I'm losing myself.
I was gone. I was gone before we even came on. Yeah. So this here, I'm not going to be embarrassed by it or anything, you know, because it doesn't reduce from my it doesn't reduce from my character or anything like that. It can go out on iTunes, and not many people will listen.
Well, you say that, Kev, but you never know. Kevin Harvey is asking, what songs should we sing?
What songs? Well,
we're having a bit of a sing song, anyway.
We had a bit of a sing song.
We have a bit of a sing song, yeah. We got the guitar and everything.
Yeah.
I've got this sneaking suspicion though, if I get the guitar out now, my balls may no longer be attached to my body come morning time.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah. There could be somebody else that's quite responsible for that.
Yeah.
I'll sing it one last time for you. Then we really have to go. You've been the
Kevin Harvey. Is Kevin, are you speaking of the Elite Network? No, not Elite anymore. Is it Evolve? The Evolve Network in Newcastle at the end of the month.
The Energy Network, isn't it? It's about gas and electricity.
It's all about EDF, isn't it?
You've been the only thing that's right in a lifetime.
Thursday, yes, mate. Yeah, Thursday. Yeah, we're speaking together. I had Tabitha on the line because when she booked me on for the slot, well, I was already booked on for the slot, but she said that I said, why don't you give Kevin Bennison a call because he's free, because she mentioned the speaker had dropped out. We've had a few by this point. So I said, give Kevin Bennison a call. She said, you're in luck because Will's spoken to him and he's speaking. So I was like, oh yeah, that's amazing. But it turns out it's not this guy, it's you. Which is still amazing, but not what I expected. So I look forward to meeting you on Thursday.
Good night, Darren. Cheers for coming on, mate. Kevin, what are you talking about, mate? Just come on, put a quick promo up. Don't make it too serious, because obviously this podcast has been complete drivel. But just make sure
Zoe
Put something up.
Zoe Paskins. Zoe's joined us. Hello, Zoe. How are you?
Hi, Zoe. Yeah, you've just...
That's me, yeah. It is Kevin. Good to meet you, mate. I look forward to meeting you in person.
Yeah, Kevin, just put up what you're talking about. Very briefly, just put in a comment.
My talk will be nothing like this podcast.
Why not? This has been absolutely brilliant. Yeah. I can't go full.
It's like, it might just turn into a complete fucking train wreck.
It might be, or genius. What are you looking for, Dan? You're looking for train wreck or genius, or something somewhere in between. Yeah.
We're glued to the screen now.
I've kind of noticed that.
How old people can still do.
Oh right, yeah.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah,
Fantastic.
that's little blue pills, isn't it? That's what does it, doesn't it?
I was going to say, when we say do it, what are we specifically talking about?
Sing? No, I don't think he's talking about that. Otherwise, he would have just mentioned very clearly what it was, wouldn't he? You know, but he's tried to put in that sort of euphemism.
So this thing is being tactful.
How old people can still nail the shit out of each other.
I will get you to sing. We're going to sing.
Yeah.
I'm up for singing.
Yeah.
I like a good sing song.
Jamie's, well, it doesn't take much. Jamie's a much better singer than I am. It doesn't take a great deal, really, to be fair. Does it?
We had a right little duo going on earlier, didn't we? Duet.
Yes.
A duet it was. It was fucking beautiful. We did harmonies and everything.
Yeah.
Kids hated it.
Yeah. Lie it up.
I particularly hated that one.
As if you have a choice, even if you cannot hear my voice. There we go. That'll do.
Do it. Just do it.
Yeah.
Do it now. It's as if Colmer Hayes here with us.
Yeah, do it now. Cole, where are you? Tag him in.
Can't believe he's got better things to do at like midnight on a Friday night than listen to us rambling on drunk.
No. Are you actually going to put this on iTunes?
Yeah, man.
Are you?
Yeah.
Right.
Well, otherwise I'm going to be going from episode 70 to episode 72, and that just wouldn't look right.
There's a lot of laughing there. There's a lot of laughing.
Maybe she's in pain.
Are you on your period, Natasha? Is
He
that
did.
the noise you
he
make?
went there. He fucking went there.
Is that the noise that you make? I'm not educated on that because I don't experience them. So it's a very random guess.
Talking about periods, there's a fantastic, if you do happen to be blessed with periods, there's a fantastic book you can read called Period Power. And it was recommended to me by the fabulous Kate Walter. And not to me, well, it was recommended to me, but not for me, obviously, because I'm a man. But yeah, it's apparently very, very good. My partner's read it, and it's fabulous. So go check it out. That was last week, mate. Well, that's you fucking told, isn't it, Kevin?
Okay, yeah. Sorry I didn't get your syncing.
Fucking hell.
Yeah. Sorry I didn't keep track of your calendar. Yeah. How terrible of me to not have all the females I know, all their periods on my Google Calendar. The period.
I was going to say, if you had them all on there, that'd get a bit messy.
I was meaning just like keeping track of the dates, not actually the result of it, Jamie.
But if you had all of that stuff on there, it would get a bit messy, wouldn't it?
In what way, Jamie?
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Explain yourself, man.
Well, there'd be lots of entries. It'd be a lot to look at, wouldn't it?
Would there?
Yeah.
Why would that be, Jamie?
Because there's 7.5 billion people on the planet, Kevin, and roughly half of them are women.
Yeah, okay, but I
That's
don't know them
That's
all.
a busy calendar.
I did.
Yeah, but you were on about if you were tracking all of them.
Well, I did say friends.
Just friends.
Yeah, close people.
How close? A meter?
People that I'm familiar with.
You're going to have to hold the floor because I need the loo.
What, are we carrying this on for a period of time? Right, Dan. Yeah, funny enough, Dan, it's amazing. What time is it, by the way? I don't even know what time it is. It must be, actually, he said about 5 minutes ago it was midnight, wasn't it? What we've got here, Jamie's phone, so I'm going to respond to some comments because that's the easiest way. Kev's probably got a black book of Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, etc. Girls and red marker when not to go there. I really don't know what you're talking about, Natasha. And she's heard you sing. Yeah. Look, Darren, I don't know what you're talking about in terms of missing out on stuff, because this has just been... I can't even see how this could possibly be in any way entertaining. All we've done is entertained ourselves, and we've not even done that well, because we would have like talked even more crap than what we have done, because we've got microphones in front of our face and like Facebook Live and stuff. So it sort of had to be even a little bit moderated, even a little bit, and we all know, we'll all come up with this stuff where we go, yeah, we're going to have like a real conversation on Facebook, but actually we express very different opinions and talk about other shit when we're not on Facebook. Anyway, Jamie's back, so that sort of saved me from and you know what, Jamie can get live, and Natasha will appreciate this. Jamie can have a very much live cupcake. So I think that's something that's absolutely classic that needs to be shared on Facebook, is a cupcake. I think I introduced cupcakes to Natasha, and that's a gift that anybody can fully appreciate, is a cupcake, and understand how to do that. Well, it doesn't actually matter whether Jamie washed his hands, Dan, because he's just been cupcaked. Yeah, Natasha's... What, Natasha, do you mean the cupcake? Yeah, it did just happen.
That just happened.
It's quality, isn't it? I think... something, there's this cliche, right?
Do you know, this isn't even 10% of what we get up to on the hills.
There's this cliche of, I can communicate on all levels. Now, really... I can communicate
Pilates.
on all levels.
So you took Natasha to Pilates and then you cupcaked her.
Pilates?
That's what she says. Pilates ball.
Well, I didn't know it was fucking Pilates.
What a fucking gent.
I thought it was just an inflatable ball. That's all I thought it was. Yeah.
A black book of Mon. What's this black book of Mon you've got?
Mon, it's days of the week, Jamie. Monday, Tuesday, Thursday. Well, actually, I do Toastmasters on a Monday, and then the following Tuesday, I need to go back to Taekwondo, which would be a Thursday. So yeah, there's my black book of those days. Absolutely. Tell about the
lampshade.
Yeah, it's just obsessed.
What the fuck is this about a lampshade, Kevin?
Because there was a lampshade in my previous house that doubled up as a hat. It was... if you're familiar with...
Kevin's looking very uncomfortable right now.
No. If you're familiar with In the Night Garden... In the Night Garden... There are... What they're called? The little wooden fuckers that slide into their bed. In the red. And there's the dudes next door.
Wooden fuckers.
Yeah. What are they called? What are they called? The little dudes. You've seen In the Night Garden?
Yeah.
And there's the little mini house.
Yeah.
And there's the little wooden fuckers in red. And it says, good night... whatever they're called, and they just sort of slide into bed.
Yeah.
And then there's the fucking Wensleydales next door that you hardly ever see that's in the blue.
Fucking Wensleydales. Yeah.
And they've got this, I think, big hat.
Yeah.
It seemed like that. That's what the lamp... Well, this light shade was a cross between... It was a good hybrid of toilet roll, a light shade, and a hat. So I was able to like put my head in it, and it came out like that, like a real posh, like the fucking Wensleydales from In the Night Garden.
Where the fuck does the toilet roll come into it?
Because it looked like toilet roll. Natasha's probably got a photo of it.
Oh, come on, Natasha. You got to be posting a photo.
Dan's threatening. He's threatening to leave and take our viewers down to just 2, which is Jamie and I. Dan's threat. He's been threatening to do that for the past half hour, to be fair. Yeah. Right. Anyway, are we going to wrap this up?
I was just thinking how long we could drag it out for people would actually stay watching. But I don't think they're ever going to go. I know Darren said he's off, but I don't believe it really.
I became Kevalicious, the Tran Queen. Was that only then that it became that? I thought it became that much sooner than that night.
And I think on that note is the perfect place to wrap it up for the evening.
Yeah, Kevalicious, the Tran Queen. Yeah. Well, there's actually, I've not got my phone in here, so I can't do it. But
see, he's still here. You're still here. Yeah. We're wrapping up night. You guys have been fucking phenomenal. Yeah. We've really enjoyed spending the night with you. We've had a good laugh. Sorry, it hasn't really been exactly.
What?
Well, hasn't been your typical personal development type podcast, has it? But there you go.
It's been for hardcore fans only.
Hardcore fans only. I'll go with that. VIP. You guys are VIP. Yeah. So for all of you on the live feed, thank you very much. For all of you who, fucking hell, if you downloaded this and you've made it to this point in the audio download, you deserve. Write to me at jamie@optimizemenow.com and tell me what I'm saying right now, and I will send you a Bulletproof medal. I really will. If you've made it through this far on the audio download, you deserve a fucking medal.
Do you have Bulletproof medals?
No, but I will get them made, mate. I will get. If anyone gets through the audio of this podcast, this episode, to here, I will give them a medal.
Okay. Yeah, because I don't think it's that relevant to helping their business, is it?
No, it's not. But it's a nice little. Fucking off. They've got this far, mate. They deserve it.
If you're in any way judgmental, you wouldn't have got past my second burp.
Anybody who's held on for this long has done very, very well.
Yeah.
We want our medals. Yeah, you guys have done exceptionally well. So thank you very much. You've been awesome. Yeah. We've had a great time. Thanks for celebrating my birthday with us. Until next time, ladies and gents. See you later.
This wasn't exactly what I was planning. It's been a podcast guest, but thank you.